Scripture today is from John 10, verses 1 through 10. Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they do not know the voice of the stranger. Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again, Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. This is the presence of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Lord, open our hearts to your wisdom and these words to your grace. Be in this time we pray in your Son's name. Amen. It's always been easy to follow somebody. Not just in the social media kind of sense, but, I grew up in the day when, newspapers were, there were two newspapers in St. Louis. There was the Globe Democrat and the Post-Dispatch. And, you could always follow your favorite author and your favorite columnist. I was at the age where I was following my favorite comic books or comic strips. There's ways to follow people, or even before social media happened, and you can follow somebody on Facebook. Now, you can follow someone on Facebook, on Twitter, on Snapchat, on any number of social media stuff. But we follow, it's almost, it gets to be a competition almost. How many followers do you have? How many people are following you? What's your, how many friends do you have? I mean, honestly, if you had to go to bat for any of those people, or any of those people had to go to bat for you, I wonder what would really happen. There are casual ways that we follow each other. And that's okay. It's a little bit like having just acquaintances. These are your friends. We have casual friends. We have friends that are a little deeper, and that's fine. That's kind of as it should be. We have kind of circles of friends around us, and that's not bad. We even follow people that we really have no intention or no hope or ever no understanding of ever meeting them person to person. We follow pastors and politicians and other celebrities. If you are friends with some celebrity that you will never see, you know what this is. That's somebody that you want to kind of keep track of. And on my Facebook feed, I've got a couple of bands that I follow, and some of these guys aren't even alive still, but the music still continues. And so I follow them because that's a style that I like. They say some of the things that I like. Some of the folks are like from the 60s and 70s, and they kind of caught my heart and soul at that time, and I've stayed with them over time. We follow lots of people. But then there are those people that kind of cross that point. We follow a lot of people because we like what they do. We like how they write, how they sing, how they perform, how they whatever. At times we like them because they resonate with how we feel, and we like them because we follow them because we sense some sort of kindredness. They agree with us. We agree with them. They say things that feed our understanding of how life is. But there comes a point where as we're following, we stop just sort of casually listening and watching. We start listening for what are those cues on how I might lead my life. We start following in ways that we're paying attention to them for guidance. We have crossed that moment from casual observation and a casual friend to somebody that I'm really paying attention to because I'm watching what they do. And I like what they do so much that maybe I'll want to start doing those same things. And you see how we've just crossed a line. We now become a disciple. It's not a casual relationship anymore. It is something that we are deeply invested in, and we watch. And we pay attention. And we anticipate what that next bit of guidance might be. We start actively seeking this person or this group out. We start listening for what the next moment will be. How will I now live my life if I'm watching this person? But then something happens. Sometimes we're disappointed. We discover that that person that we've put our faith in and started to listen to and started to follow their lead, we find that they're just human. Now, with the casual folks, with the casual likes, with the casual following, we can give up on a band. I have, walked away from bands and following other individuals, and that just happens because I'm not invested in those people. I don't follow them to get a feel for what my tomorrow is going to look like. I say, okay, I agreed with them for a while, and then they've gone left or right, and I'm not going to follow them anymore, and that's fine. But what about those people that we're invested in? That we were watching for the cues on how we might live and survive and do this life thing a little bit better. What about when those people fall? Sometimes we get disappointed. That person that we thought was the one, was the person that we could understand, that understood us, that we could watch for guidance, that we could listen to for understanding. They had the answers, and they seemed to know what was going on, and suddenly something happens, and they're no longer on the place. Don't we grieve? Don't we feel sorrow? I sat there, and as I was writing this part of the sermon, I was kind of trying to figure out how that the word grief just jumped out at me. I didn't know where it came from, but it's very much a grief response. When we have lost that one individual that we have counted on to be that example, be our hero. Suddenly, we've lost them. And all the things that happen in grief happen to us. We forget that these heroes of ours that we have found online or seen in the news or watched on the sports field, we forget that they're just humans too. We desperately seek out those people, those influences, especially those bigger than normal human beings, because we realize that life is hard and this is difficult. And quite frankly, if I've got some guidance on how I can get through life, that's a good thing. I need that guidance in my life, because life is, quite frankly, tougher than I can handle on my own. I don't know about you, but there have been problems that have been bigger than me. I need some help. Quite often I look for that person that has seemed to be bigger than all of those problems. And then I found out that they're just people, just like you and me. That's why this scripture, this morning's message, is so important. Because Jesus speaks to this moment when we have put our faith and our hope in those individuals that we thought had it all figured out. And it turns out that they didn't. And Jesus says to us, I'm the shepherd you should watch. Follow me. I'm the one that has your back. I'm the one that loves you anyway. I'm the one that has experienced the worst that the world could throw, and I still love you. I'm the one that has experienced your betrayal, our betrayal of him. And I still love you. He's the shepherd that says, I will always have your back. Follow me. That's why this is so important. That's why this message today, we had the 23rd Psalm as our call to worship this morning. I'm so glad we were able to put all of that in there, because those images of God continuing that even in the presence of enemies, even in the presence of despair and darkness, that long, lonely, dark valley that we may be in, God still is with us during that time. It is that image that Jesus gives us in this piece of scripture today. The images out of the 23rd Psalm in this particular moment give us the assurance that we need, but it also gives us a warning. I love this image that came to us a while ago, and I forget who said this first, but we need to follow the one who has your picture under a magnet on his refrigerator. Anybody with grandkids knows what that feels like. Anybody who's been a grandchild, who's been to their grandparents' home and found their picture placed prominently in a bunch of places, you know what that love feels like. We need that. That person, that God, that Savior loves you. Not the thief that offers distraction and death. But here's where I have a problem with today's scripture. Jesus likens us to sheep. That's not my problem. That's not the difficulty I have here. My difficulty is that Jesus puts puts these particular sheep on a bit of a pedestal himself, and he says, the sheep know the master's voice. They will not follow the stranger. Guess what, guys? We follow the stranger every day. We follow bright, shiny objects that seem to beckon to us and call to us and tempt us. I was in a Bible study the other day, and somebody came to the understanding, they sort of said with this astonished look on their face, we're dumber than sheep. We need to follow the Master's voice and not look at the distractions and things that tend to take our focus away. There was an author that I quoted this guy a few weeks ago, talking about some of the distractions that we have in church and some of the things that tend to take our focus away from where our real focus should be. When we come to church, now good church-going folks, y'all will know this. Sometimes we just get distracted by the place. We get into a nice, warm, wonderful, comfortable sanctuary. It's cool in the summer and it's warm in the winter, and there are wonderful cushions in the pews. Thank you, United Methodist women. And we get this thing about the place, and we come before it because, well, we're going to sit in this place. We're going to see these gorgeous stained glass windows, and we're going to be comfortable, and we're going to hear great music, and so maybe that's our distraction. Okay, put that aside for a minute, but maybe there's something else. Maybe it's the personalities involved. Maybe it's that pastor. We really like that guy or that gal, and we listen to what that person says, and we start to come because, well, I wonder what in the world Rick's going to do today. Ever seen a church get so in love with a pastor that when that pastor goes away, all of a sudden people stop coming? That's a distraction too. Maybe it's the programs that a church offers. Maybe it's a busy church or a not so busy church. Maybe they've got a United Methodist men's group, or maybe they've got an active, women's group or whatever. Maybe it's the programs. And I'll come because of the programs. And sometimes, that's where our focus goes. Maybe it's the people. Maybe it's the person sitting next to you this morning, or the one across the way that you have not seen this person all week long, and during the grip and grin and the first part of the service, you make sure that you go and you shake hands or give that person a big old hug. Maybe it's the people. But quite frankly, if it's the place, if it's the personality, if it's the programs or the people, quite frankly, if that's why you're in church, you are distracted. Because any one of those four things can go away like that. Our focus needs to be on Jesus. Our focus needs to be on how Christ comes to us. There has been a little paper in a frame thing, a little bit of artwork that's been on my office wall for ever since I've gotten here, and quite frankly, it's been on office walls that I've had in the past several churches, but I don't know that I've ever really looked at it as hard as I have until yesterday. And I was reminded of where my heart should be as a pastor, and quite frankly, where our hearts should be as Christians. And the title of the thing, what caught my eye was the title, I Am Not Alone. Nancy Parker Brummett wrote these words a number of years ago. And she gave it to pastors as guidance, but quite frankly, I think it goes to all of us as minister members to the community. And she said this: each day as pastor, I give advice with the counselor. I solve conflicts with the Prince of Peace. I guide and instruct with the teacher. I ease pain and grief with the comforter, and I bow before the King of Kings. I am not alone. And you see, that's the difference between those charlatans, between those distractions, between those false prophets. For these, it's all about them. Their strength, their hope, their skills, their talents, whatever they present. And as a result, all of the benefit goes to them. Our job is to point people to Jesus. We do that by means of grace. We do that by moments when we gather together. The meal that we will enjoy in just a couple of moments, as I was telling the kids, that's not something that's going to satisfy your physical hunger, but it's that moment when your soul is so hungry and thirsty. That's that means of grace. That's when we connect with God, and that's what we should be doing. As a church, everything that we do should point not to our building, not to our programs, not to the pastor, not to any of those things, but should point to Jesus. And if we're doing anything less than that, we are a distracted bunch. Other means of grace where we find God are those means of service. Those moments of service when we can be of help to somebody else. And one of those moments happened during this last week. We got a call from a lady who was having some difficulty. Her refrigerator was absolutely on its last legs. And you may have gotten the call that we were looking for a refrigerator. And don't worry, if you're here this morning, I am not gonna embarrass you by pointing my fingers at you. But it's Hearing the joy in the names and hearts of the voices of the people that participated in this was a moment of grace for me. That's a time when I was in the presence of God, and it was amazing. I got a call yesterday afternoon, and the guy said, we got the message that somebody needed a refrigerator. Don't worry, it's taken care of. If that's not a God moment, these are those times. And that should be our job. Because nobody that I talk to, and I talked to several people along the way in this process of, trying to see how this actually could work out. And quite frankly, we're still looking to make connections with the gal that called us and needs the refrigerator. Her number is, we're having difficulty with the phone. But we will find her, and we will get that refrigerator to her. But no one along the way said, look at what I did. Each and every one of them had the presence of God in their heart, in their voice, and in their soul. And it is in that means of grace, that moment of service, that we connect with God. In every moment such as this, whether it's the communion table or a service to another individual, every single moment helps us tune our hearts so that we can tell the thief from the shepherd. Today in this shared meal, tomorrow in a moment when you will serve someone else, you will hear and feel and taste that joy if we have our hearts open and tuned to understand it. Who will you follow? Someone who is guaranteed to disappoint. I think I shocked some folks at the United Methodist Women on Wednesday night when I looked across the table and said, I will disappoint you. If I haven't already, stick around. I will, I guarantee. Who are you going to follow? May you follow the shepherd who will never disappoint. Let's bow our heads. Gracious and loving God, we come before you as imperfect vessels. And yet you ask us to hold your grace. Work with us and through us, and in our imperfections, Lord, fill our gaps. In this moment, Lord, may we always, always give you the glory, give you the credit. May our lives, our church, our ministries, and all that we do point to you. Give us the grace to follow. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.